Welcome to 36 Full Press and Craps Nation, YouTube's premier craps channel.
Welcome to my channel. This is 36 Full Press, and in today's episode, as you can see on the other side of the camera, we have Jacob from WagerMeThis. Say what's up, my man.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, we all recognize that voice, right? So what I'm doing is, if anybody hasn't noticed, around the layout, got this COVID-19 Corona bullshit still working its ugly head. So what we're doing is I'm reaching out to my friends in Craps Nation and asking them a couple questions. Around the layout, in this week's version, I got Jacob from WagerMeThis. So here you go. First question, what's your favorite bet on the layout?
I would say by far my favorite bet is the don't pass. And the reason being is because the don't pass offers you so much movement. It offers you all kinds of ways to manipulate the game of craps in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you play the pass line, you're always behind the 7. Where as long as you make it through one roll on the don't pass, you've gained the 7.
Right.
So it changes everything you can do.
Mm-hmm.
It changes your exposure, because even though there's money on a number, you get the 7 as a winner, so you're gaining a probability advantage, which limits your exposure.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I love the don't pass. I play it even when I'm playing light side strategies. I still play a don't pass or don't come.
Absolutely.
Because there's no reason to not have the 7. That doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get 16% of the combinations by having the 7.
Right. And I guess this is where I kind of feel like I love what I'm even though that all this is going on, and we can look at it as a negative, we can look at it as a positive. You can be at a craps table and things goes shit or hell in a handbasket quickly, like all this stuff that's going on. What I love about this opportunity that I'm taking with around this layout is getting to meet different people, talk to my friends like yourself, El Toro, Throwing Thunder that I just did, Rick from Let It Roll, Jeremy from Color Up. This is brain fart, I don't know what the hell. But the reason why is because everybody has their specialty, right? And we don't ever have enough time to really show what it is that we can bring to the table. I like to shoot. I'm a don't pass player. There hasn't been a casino that I stepped in that they're like, you're shooting from the don'ts? Bet he won't. And I'm like, bet he won't hell. I'll hit the number and then I'll add to it because that's what I want it to do. I'll get it to work and manipulate it the way I want. I love a don't pass. I love a don't come back. I love what it has, but what I love about you, and even back when it was blue collar, and when we started talking, is you bring something different. You bring the numbers along with the flexibility and the ability to play. You're easy to listen to, definitely easy to understand when it comes to craps. You definitely know your way around the layout. I don't spend a lot of time with like odds and numbers, because I don't play this shit, so it doesn't really mean nothing to me. You know what I mean? So like, it wasn't ever really a thing that I played. I don't play odds because I usually flat bet because that's what I've made all my money on. I flat bet. I play time against money. I take my shit and I get out before they realize I just robbed them. You know, so with that being said, we love the don't pass. We love the don't come. What don't you like?
I think the worst bets on the craps table are the don't pass odds. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just put another don't come out there and get full money on it? It doesn't make any sense to take less money on the bet. It just
put more up when you're already ahead by having just a flat
right
bet.
And I feel kind of the same way about like the 7 bet, not hopping the 7s. The hop 7s I'm okay with, but the 4-1 any 7 bet, I think it's a bet. If you want to play that, play the come, because then if it misses, you get a number. You know, if you want to get the 7, just play the come.
Right.
Now, I don't pay 4-1, but if you miss, you probably have a number to play with. So,
right.
I don't do, but really, it's the don't pass, don't come odds. To me, they don't make any sense, and I don't ever play them. I mean, I've played them on videos for people, but I don't ever play them.
Right. Right. And I guess that's kind of like this opportunity, like I said, before we started getting into this, right, is I'm asking you if you want, I mean, indulge what you want and really kind of reveal what you want people to know. But this is kind of like your couple minutes to really say, what it is that you bring. How did you get into? So there's 3 questions. Like there's a trio that I kind of like to think about. How did you get into craps? How do you think you could build a bankroll if I just met you on the street and I said, hey, Jacob, I heard you're good at craps. I kind of want to build a bankroll because playing a $5 table is great for the weekend, but I can't, put out $6 to make 7. I mean, I'd wear my damn arm out and waste my time and be too drunk because the drinks would be too free for me to even get any money. So, those 2 questions, along with the last question is, how did you even get into craps? So how do you build a bankroll? What is your, the things that you really like, and how did you even get here?
So years ago, my grandfather lives in Deadwood, South Dakota, and he was a casino dealer, manager, every part of the casino. Well, back in the late 80s, he made a bunch of money gambling. And he had a bunch of Corvettes and stuff. I remember as a little kid. And he thought he was going to go big. He went to Vegas and got his ass handed to him. And so then he ran back home to Deadwood there. And he's retired from the casinos there. And now he's an old man. But he's the one that taught me. And he's the one that gave me the lay the 4 and the 10 and then play the hard ways with it and just go with it. Just however that lands out, eventually you're going to have a really good day or a really bad day, really, on that. And so he's the one that got me into it. Well, then I got locked up for 12 years. So then I got into it in prison, too, which is a little different. It's street craps. So there's no odds. There's no layout bets. It's just points and 7s and 11s.
Yeah,
right?
0.7, 11, you put the number you lay against, you play for. Right. Yeah, it's
right.
It's how we play in Cleveland, baby. It's street craps in a casino. But go ahead. Yeah, I like it.
So that teaches you something different about the game. It gives you an understanding of when the dice are rolling, what's going to happen, what is going to be profitable, what's not. So when I came out, I realized that, man, I can probably do something with this. So I started going. And I started with $200, and in about 8 minutes, 10 minutes, I had $0. And so then I did it again, and I did it again. And I did it again, and I went to Kansas one time, the Kansas Star Casino, and I rolled for like an hour and had $340 out of 200 after rolling for an hour. Right. So I was like, everyone on the table had racks of chips, and I had a little bit more. And so I was like, okay, I need to learn the game, not just understand what's going on. I need to learn it. And that's what I did. So I just started watching people on YouTube and studying and figuring out different things. I read a bunch of books, and then I realized what I like and don't like about craps. And then I took and I started working on the math and trying to figure out advantages in the game that people don't understand. So that's when I started really looking at playing the don't and then playing place bets with the don't and field bets and different things with it in order to generate profit, as opposed to, you can play the don't and create a winner, or you can play the don't and generate profit. There's a big difference.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I do, and that's where I've geared most of my strategies and most of my game around, is using the don't as basically, like I've called it before, a blanket for your other bet.
That's what it is. It covers whatever you need it to.
Right. And so then you just adjust accordingly for whatever you're trying to do. And then as I started playing more, and I had a $2,000 day, and then I had a couple $600 days, and and so on and so forth. So next thing you know, I'm like I don't like $5 tables. I don't like $10 tables.
Yeah, 15 is about the low as I go anymore. 15, 25 tables, I like them.
And I'll tell you, and my main reason why is because there's too many people on them. And I'm not saying that everyone can play how they want, but I want to play where I can play. I don't want to wait.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that point. And there's a subscriber of mine. Her and her husband are building a table, and that's kind of like, I always like to help. And me, that's what I want to do. And she sent me an email. her and her husband, they called me back, and that was what I was talking about. We were talking about playing, and she said, why, what tables do you like to play at? I'm like, to be honest with you, like, I'm not going to play at a $5 table because, one, they're packed, two, they're slow. Like a $10 table, it's like, yeah, whatever. And I want the higher denominations. I want the dice to come back, and I want to move in to play the game. I want the game to move at the pace that it's supposed to play at. And you mentioned, talk about getting into craps, and I appreciate that. Talking about your story, I appreciate that. We'll dive into that a little bit more here. I don't care about how long this is going to take, because this is kind of like a special edition, special edition with press. You know what I mean? Well, I'm trying to really get people to understand you as WagerMeThis, you as Blue Collar Sports. I mean, we talked and hung out and this stuff back in Blue Collar Sports, and then you disappeared, and then you hit me up and said, hey, press, this is Jacob from Blue Collar. I'm WagerMeThis. Well, I did everything I could to kind of, and what, you're 12, 13, maybe 1,400 subscribers. Yeah, I mean, you're well received, and that's what I want people to understand. If you want the knowledge of the game, you want something different, you want to learn how to actually play to make money. Like, playing to have fun is one thing, but I've never walked in a casino that I didn't feel like I was going to walk out with what I wanted. Yeah, Harris, that chick took me for a ride, man. I was running the don't comes back behind her. She was chucking dice and was killing the six. I mean, it got to the point where I'm like, holy shit, I just lost $400, but I was up 1,000. I was up 1,000. I lost 400. I could have had 1,500, but I mean, what do you want for an hour on vacation?
Yeah.
$1,000? It paid for my freaking drinks, because the drinks in New Orleans are expensive.
Yeah.
I'm drinking old fashions at $15 a pop. And I get thirsty sometimes. But anyways, moving on. So when you started, you talk about the books that you're reading. You're talking about who you're watching. You want to kind of, where did you, what kind of like motivated you? Who were you watching at that time? What were you reading? Just so people can refer back.
Well, of course, the first person I watched for whatever reason was Jeremy. For some reason, Color Up landed on my thing first.
Probably because he blows up the internet with every video on her.
All right. Well, one of the things, and I'm not hating on Jeremy by any means. Don't take it this way, especially Jeremy. Do not take this way. But Jeremy don't have his own personal content.
No.
All right. I don't
think he wants to, though.
Right. He tells people about the game and how it runs and stuff, which is perfect for someone that was trying to figure out where to find the edges.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I really like about Jeremy, and I like about his channel, is that he's not trying to sell you on anything.
Right.
All he's going to do is show you what craps is.
Right.
And that helped me a lot. And so after that, like I started seeing Uncle Angelo, and I think Uncle Angelo led me to you. And actually, believe it or not, watching your stuff, your first stuff was what's mostly about shooting the dice.
Mm-hmm, absolutely, yeah. I started off as just basically a pure shooter, right? So, I mean, if you don't mind me, I'll kind of segue into what you're talking about a little bit. I'm sure a lot of people understand this, but I came into craps as just a shooter. Really, to be honest with you, I couldn't bet for shit. But I've always been an athlete, and I played golf. Anything I could touch, throw, kick, spit. I mean, if it's a sport, I was always decent at it. When I went to college and played college ball in 4 sports, plus I was a cheerleader. I mean, I know it sounds really weird, but I could tumble. I just anything that was a sport, I could do that. So I got into shooting dice from watching my grandpa, watching other people, and they were trying to basically move the dice around to basically get the number that they wanted. They weren't trying to avoid the 7 like street crafts. The 9 came up, I'm trying to hit the 9. So they were manipulating the dice to get what they wanted. They were rhythm rolling, but at the same point, it was still the idea. So a lot of people don't understand this. Don't climb the ladder from Uncle Angelo is what really propelled my channel. Right? So I took Uncle Angelo's idea of don't climb the ladder and paired it with somebody that could shoot. So I was trying to figure out how I could, with help from George from CY, trying to figure out how I could start on one end. And if you watch a lot of my videos, I do it live. I'll start on one end and I'll work my way trying to progress the money to the other end and then replace a higher denomination with a lower. And then that turned into what everybody knows now as my blender, which is that's my bet. And that was what I was using because I was getting to the point where on average I was throwing 30 to 40 minutes every time I touched the dice. And I got to the point where just running a don't climb the ladder, I was up to like $3,000. I would take $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to the casino, and I was buying in with $5,000, and I was down to hundreds of dollars by the time I got done throwing because I had a shitload of money out there. So that's why I started putting the blender in to kind of feed the back to pay for the front, to feed the back to pay for the front. So that's Uncle Angelo's kind of the same with me. I was just a shooter, and he taught me how to bet, if that makes sense. And then I followed Jeremy, and then I was, messing around with you, and then there was just other stuff trying to that's how my blender came, and then that turned into like my Cleveland hustle and everything else. So go back to whatever you're doing. But that's just kind of how we all kind of met and mingled together there.
And on all that stuff is when I saw you shooting, the one thing is, I'd watched that Dominic Roggio and all that stuff too, that documentary and stuff. Mm-hmm. And to me, there was too much fluff in it. It was too much them selling you something. And so that when I was watching you, though, one thing I like about when your videos, especially your first ones when you're teaching people to shoot, is when your numbers are moving and the dice aren't cooperating, you don't completely change your set. You'll roll one way, like one dice one way.
Yeah, exactly.
Affect that outcome the way that instead of saying, okay, well, I'm throwing it too far, I'm throwing it too short, you're like, well, I'm going to keep throwing it. I'm just going to move the dice one spot. Mm-hmm. And that's actually helped me a ton when I shoot. So basically all my shooting ability came from watching your stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, I try to, the thing is we only have so much time, right, Jacob? We only have so much time to kind of put what we know into a 15-minute segment or whatever. And I'm sure, we got 20 minutes deep, and I don't care. But people are only going to see what they want to see. And you can only teach what you want to teach. But for some reason, I learned when I learned how to shoot, I was self-taught. I self-taught myself how to play guitar. I self-taught myself how to do other things. And I come to find out that if I change more than one variable at a time when I test something, then I don't know what works. So I literally started changing. I start with one set, and I would change the left die because that was the one. The right die always seemed like, and still to this day, is dead on what I want it to be. I mean, I can almost for shit call numbers, and I do it more times than it freaks people out. But I actually do it in a casino. I mean, it's awesome. It's fun as shit. It's kind of comedic, you know what I mean? And I have fun with it. But I turn that left die because I watch what that die is doing. And I just keep turning that left one, and I'll dial that son of a bitch in. And then I start hammering stuff. And I did a live thing where I took $100 and I turned that shit I took it all the way up to table minimum. And I did it one cut, one time, live. And I just threw the dice. And I kept changing them. And I did it. And that's what I do more times than not. So I appreciate you coming to me with that. I've always kind of bounced ideas off of yours. I try to, showcase your channel. I was really sad when Blue Collar kind of got blown up because, you kind of helped me with my football picks, but, that's what it is. You know what I mean? But, you offer more than just craps. So we talked about a couple different things, but the one thing that I want you to just kind of take a second, what do you want your viewers to get? I mean, like I said, I'm a shooter, but I like strategy. Uncle Angelo's dark side. Jeremy's got, basically he covers everything. He does odds. He talks about different stuff. You got Rick from Let It Roll doing this thing. And then you got some people, the younger channels that are coming up just throwing. What do you want my subscribers, which are probably your subscribers, and if they're not yet, they will be. What do you want them to understand about you, and what's different about you? I mean, I know who I am. I'm kind of weird, but what's different about what you bring?
Well, the first thing about my channel is I'm not going to try to sell you on anything. I'm never going to say, you only should play this way or anything like that, or I'm not going to tell you that your best bet is this. Or the one thing I am going to tell you is that you should have rules when you go in. You should have an idea, your plan. You should know what's going to happen when you walk up to the table.
And if it doesn't,
yes. You know, you're don't go up there and be I call them tourists. Don't be a tourist. If you want to be a craps player, you can't be a tourist. You can be one or you can be the other. You can't be both, you know. So you can't go up there. Like I see this happen sometimes. It's a $15 table and you buy in with $100. What are you doing? You know,
donating $100 to the casino, apparently.
You know, go play bubble craps or something where you can play $1 a roll or whatever, you know, because you're not going to get enough. You don't know. It could go bad the first hour. You know, things happen. It doesn't always go right. But that's one of the things. And I just want people to understand that when I'm telling them things, I'm telling them from me getting my head beat in at the craps table, why I don't do something or why I do it. You know,
we paid for our lessons that we're giving them for free.
Right. You know,
I know.
Day, I took $1,000 into the Horseshoe Tunica, right? And my goal was I was going to make $300 and come home. I played the 6 and 8 both for a 90. 3 or 4 rolls in, I had my money. Dude, this kid is just rolling 6 and 8s. You know what I did? Well, I didn't leave. I stayed, and then I ended up leaving with $200 instead of $1,300. And it was all just arrogance. It was all me not sticking to my guns and not understanding that, hey, you had a good plan and you just broke it. And now look at you. But so them were the lessons I learned playing. But that's what my channel, when I talk to people, I want them to know that I'm telling them from experience. I'm not telling them from, you know, a Dice Doctor book I read or something like that. I'm not regurgitating something. And if I do, I usually tell them where I'm regurgitating it from, because I'm either saying I like this or I don't like this. But yeah, and actually I kind of want to say where I want to take my channel to somewhere a little different. And my plan with my channel is I want to start going and playing with people and buying them into the game.
Yeah, I think that we talk about, you said that you were going to try to meet up with me, and I know that next coming year, I'm gonna get with you, you know, and I don't need you to buy in with me, but I think that's a great idea. I think that would be something different. You're bringing something different, and that's what Craps Nation to me was originally about. People bringing something unique and individual. So what do you think that's gonna look like? What do you want that to look like?
Man, to be honest, the COVID thing kind of messed it up, because I already had a plan of, like, I already had people lined up kind of to go, but then this screwed everything up. You know, out of all the craps people, I've only ever played with one of them, and that's Dave from Same Bet.
Mm-hmm.
He actually met me at the Kansas Star Casino.
Mm-hmm.
He came out of his way. We were driving to Colorado to see my family, and he came out of his way to come meet me there.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he's an awesome dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like, at first I was kind of creeped out about it. Like, I was kind of thinking, like, what? You want to meet me and play with me at this casino? But after we met and stuff, it was cool. Yeah, at first
it's a little uncanny, because we do have this, I don't want to say artificial because that kind of cheapens it, but, you know, we have this idea, you know, we talk to these people, and last time I was in Vegas, I met up with Bird Dog. So Bird Dog was there, and then another guy that's a friend of Rick's from Let It Roll. And it was cool, but at the same time, it was weird because I felt like I already knew him. You know what I mean? And it's like, I never met you, but I know you because I talk to you all the time. So it was a little weird. It was a little weird, but I really like him. It was just weird because I didn't know what to expect, and I'm a very outgoing person, so it was just kind of strange. So this September thing is gonna be kind of crazy, because, like, everybody and their brother's coming, because we've been talking about it. I got Casino Quest all looped in, and Alexander Kim from there, and I'm just hoping it's gonna be sweet. You know what I mean? And I'm not expecting a whole lot. I'm just expecting to meet people, get an opportunity to, you know, kind of I don't know, meet and greet and handshake and do whatever. And I don't know. And I guess it's a little different. It's a little different for me because you're talking about, and I'm going to leave you with this. I want our viewers, I feel like this too. And the only reason why I'm talking about it is Rick from Let It Roll makes a really good point. So I work across the street from the casino. Like, I can fall out of my office, walk across the river on the bridge, and fall into the casino. I mean, the longest it would take me is about 8 minutes if I hit every light. So for me to walk in and say, I'm going to make $50 to $100 a day and leave, it's not out of my way. I get free parking, free food, free bets, free this, free that. They send me shit out in the mail. You know what I mean? They even tell me how much money I take from them on a monthly basis. You know what I mean? Now, Rick from Let It Roll drives 4 hours. So he's going to drive 4 hours, and his goal is to make $300. He makes it in 15 minutes. You think he's going to walk away?
Well, of course not.
Of course not. So that's where it's kind of like, this is what I tell people. And I guess I want you to agree, disagree, or no opinion. This is how I would do this. And this is what I do when I go to Vegas. So when I go to Vegas, I have a week bankroll, right? The only thing is I play higher denominations probably like you do. I buy in minimum 500, mostly $1,000. That's my buy-in. But I'm also laying the 4 and 10 for 100, playing 110 inside, hopping 5, 6, 8, 9. If I'm shooting, I'm doing whatever. I'm usually playing $300, $400 a bet. So that's just how I play. But I say I'm only going to play X amount of money per session, and I cut my sessions 30 to 45 minutes, depending on, or 3 shooters or so. And then I walk away and I act like it's a whole nother day when I come back. That's the only thing I can really come up with besides the people that I walk in, buy in, take my money and leave. I do it 4 to 5 times a week or whenever I can get to $500. I make $500 a week. If I can make 500 in 3 days, then I don't have to go back to the 4th day. I lower my amount of money I'm putting on the table, my exposure, right? So what would you think if someone like Rick from Let It Roll or someone that gets to the casino and they're like, I have a day to do this, how would you break it up? Because, I mean, like you said, you can hit it in 10 minutes. Oh, man, you can hit it in 10, 15, 20 minutes, but you have 8 hours. What are you going to do? How would you do that? We'll cut it from here.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the Rick from Let It Roll thing first. One of the things is he's playing on a table that has a $100 limit. Colorado tables, you can only go up to 100.
I know.
So
that's crazy.
Best case scenario, you could get the bet with odds and a come on it with odds and a place bet. So at the most, you could have like $400 on a number. So, I mean, what I'm saying is that there's no progression playing in Colorado.
Right. And they understand that.
Right. So they got you. In Colorado, they kind of got you. Mm-hmm. And so basically what I'm saying is if you live a long ways from a casino, what I would suggest is that if you're going to go there and you're going there like regularly, like 3 times a week, but you drive 3 hours, I would suggest saving a bigger bankroll first. Getting a bankroll first as opposed to winning a bankroll. Right. That way, when you win, you could play bigger and not have to play very long, as opposed to trying to grind out a $300 bankroll into, $600, $700 a week or whatever, the $500 a week, which is a lot harder. Mm-hmm. If you can play $100 across on each bet, it's not going to take you very long to make $300. Mm-hmm. Rolls and you're there. So that's what I think. If you're driving any length of distance, you should go with a bigger bankroll. So even if you're going to be playing something like the 110 or something, or 160 or something, whatever it is you're playing as your main profit generators, right, I would suggest having enough to double that each bet. So just because you're not getting the same amount of time as people that live close.
Right.
And you can't have a bad day. That's another thing. So you can't really have a bad day if you live far away. Because if you get knocked out one day and you only go 3 times a week and you have to make a bunch of money each time, you're not going to make that other one up.
Right. Yep.
And so that's what I would say. If you don't live close, I would suggest going bigger.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Go bigger and hedge it. Yeah. I like it.
So, but yeah, that's what I got.
Hey, man, we'll sign off here. This is Jacob from WagerMeThis. If you are not yet subscribed to his channel, one of my good buddies, I'm going to put the link in the description. Along with him will be the new dude throwing Thunder. Just call him Thunder. His link will be in there. All part of Craps Nation. Everybody brings something different to the table. Dude, I really appreciate you. We will be catching up soon. If I don't see you in September, I will make a trip. We'll get somewhere. Even if it's just to hang out, we'll play a little craps, do a little bullshit, and have a couple old fashions, to say the least.
Yeah.
We'll either do it sweet or sour. Don't matter to me, my friend. But I do appreciate your time, and hopefully everybody sticks around. They'll get something out of it, man. Until later, you guys know what to do. This WagerMeThis.
One more thing.
What's that, buddy?
One more thing.
What's that, Bob?
Like I said last year before the season started, you have to go put your money on the Chiefs again and bet Buffalo Bills to win their division. It's at 8-5 right now. You're getting plus odds. By August, it's not going to be plus odds.
Yeah, see, the thing is I already got the Bills dialed in. And I'm betting on my Browns, even though that they cost me money. I love them. They're going to do something this year, though.
Check this out. Browns are going to give the Ravens a run for that division this year. Last year was putting it together. This year, they added some good pieces, the right pieces.
Yeah, yep.
They're going to be competitive.
Yeah, I came out even. I came out even with the Browns, but I was kind of happy because I still came out 21. I came out 2,100 over for the season, so that wasn't bad. To be honest with you, I took a couple of your picks when I was unsure, and it paid off for me. So, believe what you want. My buddy of mine's like, where are you getting your information from? I said, I have no idea. I guessed, but to be honest with you, a couple of the parlays that I put together was from you. Of course, I bet my Browns in a couple of the emotional bets, but the Browns-Rams game kind of pissed me off, even though it was preseason. It was still a good one. So yeah, I appreciate that. What he's saying is his channel is not just about craps. There's more hidden content in there that's really good. So, brother, I appreciate your time. We'll get out of here, and this will be on there. You can go ahead and play it back. So until later, you guys know what to do.
See you guys.